How does she afford it? What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. Today, I want to talk about money. I want to talk about money plus luxury. One of the biggest questions I always get from my subscribers is, Sophia, what do you do for a living? Do you do something outside of YouTube? How much money do you spend on makeup? How do you afford all of the makeup? How do you afford all of the luxury bags, everything that you show on your channel? And you know what, friends? I don't blame you because I have the same curiosity as well. Whenever I go on social media, whenever I watch YouTube videos, I'm always wondering, how do people afford all of this stuff? And so I wanted to make a video talking about my personal approach for saving for luxury. This video is going to be kind of a mixture between how I budget my money, how I manage my money so that I can afford the things that you see on this channel. And then I'm also going to share with you guys some of my tips and kind of like mindset best practices to use this holiday season, because I think that right now, especially as Black Friday is approaching, we feel this pressure to buy things. We feel this pressure to get in on the deals. We feel this pressure to spend our money. And I want to kind of share some tips for how I approach the holiday season. And like I said, how I approach saving for luxury. So that's what this video is going to be about. And quick disclaimer, guys, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not an expert. I'm not even rich, okay? I just like nice things. And so if I like nice things, I have to work for them. I have to save for them. I have to budget for them. I'm hoping this video doesn't come across as like boastful or I'm a know-it-all or anything like that. I really just want it to be maybe something that can give you some tips and tricks for how to manage your own money and how you can maybe approach saving up for luxury a little bit differently. So make sure you leave me a comment down below letting me know if this was helpful, if I can do more videos like this in the future. And with that, friends, let's get into all of my secrets. All right, party people. So this is how this video is going to go. The first couple of things that I'm going to chat about are going to be more like personal finance, investing, budgeting, those types of things. I'm going to tell you how much money I spend on makeup each month. And I'm also going to talk a little bit more about my career, what I do for a living, because I know a lot of you guys are curious. And like I said, I don't blame you. Then we're going to get into a couple of things that are more so, tips and tricks and rules that I have for myself to prevent myself from buying things that I don't need and things that I have not budgeted for. Finally, I'm going to share a couple of suggestions if you're looking to save money on luxury to kind of help you maybe get to your goal or that thing you've been saving for quicker. So let's get into it. Let's kick things off with budgeting. I know, super sexy topic, but I do get a lot of questions about this, friends. And if there's anything to take away from this video, it is make sure that you have a budget and make sure that you stick to the budget. It's never too late to get into this type of stuff. That's what's great about it. And this was a complete game changer for me. It sounds so simple and so obvious, but I didn't have a budget maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. I was paying off my bills, but then any extra money that I had, I really had no idea where I was spending it. I was like, oh, let me go on this trip. Let me buy this dress. Let me buy these shoes, etc. And guess what? I wasn't really saving up that much money. I wasn't really hitting my goals. I felt like I wasn't making enough. And so I downloaded a budgeting software and I've been using that ever since. The one that I use is called YNAB. This is totally not sponsored, but that's the one that I use. It stands for You Need a Budget. And that's what I use to manage all of kind of like my savings goals, if that makes sense. Once you start looking at everything you spend your money on, it is so sobering. It's almost like counting calories, where you take a look at your daily decisions and you realize, that decision isn't so healthy. I'm spending a lot of calories on this one item that I like to eat every day. Maybe I can just eat that once a week. You start to make like better, healthier decisions. And I feel like it is the same when you make a budget. So what I do is that whenever I have a paycheck, whenever I get paid, I basically divvy that money up between all of the different categories where I need to spend money and then areas where I would like to spend money. So what are some of the things that are in my budget? Well, I have to pay for rent. I have to pay for utilities, my cat, I have medical bills. I had a lot of dental work that I had to get done this year. And those were all things that I had to take into account. A lot of times I know about these things well in advance. I know that the holidays are coming. So I'm going to start budgeting for gifts for my family. I'm going to start putting that money away little by little. I know that I like to pay for like a gym membership. You can budget for that each month. And everybody's budget is gonna look different because we're all in different walks of life. We live in different places. We have people we need to take care of. We might have homes that we need to take care of. Like what are some of the things that are not on my budget? Right now, I don't have any children. I would like to have children. I hopefully will have a family in the next couple of years, but right now that is not an expense for me. I also am done with school. I'm done with school. I'm not paying for that. I don't have any student loans. I don't have any credit card debt. These are some of the things that I personally don't have to pay for. I save up for a home down payment. That is something that is in my budget. And guess what? Luxury and travel, that is another thing that is in my budget. When you see me go on vacation to Paris, I've been saving since the last time I went on a vacation. And when I start saving up early, it doesn't seem like a huge burden on my life whenever I want to go on a trip or I want to buy gifts for my family, for example. So all of the luxury items here on my channel, friends, they were budgeted for. I pay for everything with my own money unless it's like a gifted makeup product, which I always say in the video if it happens to be. Hopefully this serves as kind of like a little bit of inspiration. If you don't have a budget, get on that. It is never too late to start. By the way, if you are enjoying this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. And if you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Sophia and I'm a complete luxury addict. I upload new videos every single week. So if you love luxury, if you love spending your money wisely, I'm here to help you, okay? So hit that subscribe button to join our fam. We would love to have you. And with that, let's get on with the rest of these tips. Another thing that I like to do, friends, to kind of hold myself accountable to my savings and investing goals and to make sure that I don't spend the money is to have separate accounts for sort of longer term savings goals, or even to have money taken automatically out of my account to make sure that it's going into that account and it's not getting spent on shoes, makeup, and handbags. So one example of something that I do, which is very common, is for my 401k. With every single paycheck, a certain percentage of that paycheck automatically gets put into my retirement account. I also like to do the same thing with my investment portfolio. Automatically every single month, I have a set dollar number that gets taken out of my bank account and put into my investment portfolio. I want to keep feeding my portfolio so that it can grow over time. This is a long-term game. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint for me. And I want to make sure that I stay on track, and wanting some shiny new thing doesn't kind of prevent me from getting to my long-term goal. The last thing that I like to do, friends, is I have a separate high yield savings account that I like to put money into for kind of longer term savings. I really want to get a house within like the next couple of years, so I need to save for a down payment. So I have that separate account to kind of prevent me from taking anything out of it. Anything that goes in there, it is for that particular goal. I can see it, and if I do take something out of it, maybe I have an emergency or whatever, I know exactly how much is left in that account. And because it's high yield, I get a decent amount of interest every single month being kind of put back into that pot of money. Another thing that I did maybe about like 2 years ago is I signed up for a financial advisor. Do you ever feel like you don't really know what you're doing? Sign up for a financial advisor. You don't have to be, doing poorly. You don't have to be super rich to have someone help you do these things. I put them to work doing the things I don't know how to do, doing the things I don't want to do, like managing my investment portfolio. I'm not an expert. I didn't study investing in finance and all those types of things. I'm a marketing girl. I'm a product girl. I'm a tech girl. So I'm going to go do those things, and I'm going to get the experts to manage my money. I meet with them about maybe like every 2 months, and we talk about the economy. We talk about how my portfolio is doing. We talk about decisions I need to be making. We talk about the goals that I have, and they kind of help steer me in the right direction. And I know this is like a super boring topic, but this is how I know that I'm doing okay. And then together with the budget, which is more of like the shorter term expenses, I kind of know how much I can spend on things that are fun, things that I like bags and makeup. Increase and diversify your income. That's what I'm going to be talking about next. I'm going to talk a little bit about each of my jobs and kind of give you guys some perspectives about how I afford luxury and some of the things that you see on this channel. I am not a sugar baby. I'm not a trust fund baby. I don't have a benefactor. I work 2 jobs personally. That's how I earn my money. When you see a lot of influencers on social media, on YouTube, on Instagram, and they're kind of like unboxing a Chanel bag every single month, most of those people have multiple revenue streams. They don't have just one job, or if they do, they are maybe killing it. Maybe they're running their business very efficiently. We are entrepreneurs, and so you kind of have to think about that and put things into perspective when you're watching people do this on social media. It might be a part of their job. If they have a luxury channel, if their channel is about bags or makeup or anything like that. And at the end of the day, guys, luxury is for the wealthy. So for me, that means I need to increase my wealth if I want to be able to afford these things. So what do I do for a living? What are my two jobs? Well, first off, I have a full-time career in the tech industry. I've been building this career over the past 10 years, and I work as a principal product manager for a growth stage tech company. If you've never heard of a product manager, basically what I do is I try and figure out what are the business needs, how do we want to grow the business, and then I translate that into product features, and I work with software engineers, designers, analytics engineers, etc., to kind of figure out how are we going to build these features to grow the business. So if you've ever used, let's say, the Sephora mobile app, there is a product manager behind the scenes trying to figure out how do I improve search in the mobile app? How do I improve browse? How do I improve, looking at the product images, the swatches? How do I improve the checkout experience? That's kind of what I do, and then I make it happen. I measure the results, and then I kind of iterate on that. So in this case, the product is the tech. And right now I work more so in warehousing and fulfillment. So if you place an order on the Sephora app, somebody has to pack that order in the warehouse, somebody has to bin that order, they have to dispatch that order. And that's kind of like the software that I build. I know, super duper cool. So that full-time job, at least at the moment, that is where I earn the majority of my income. I also have my YouTube business, which we'll talk about in just a second, but that is still, this channel is still relatively young, so I don't earn a ton of money from YouTube. So within the first year, I did have to use a lot of my own personal funds to kind of invest in the channel to get it to the point where it is today. One thing that I recommend doing that's been hugely helpful in kind of growing my career and helping me level up in my job, and specifically my income and salary, is having a network of friends that all work within my industry, but they don't work at my company. And I will talk to them. I will ask them, how did you get to the next level? How did you get a job at this company? What are people paying in your city? Oh, you're interviewing at places? What are the going rates? What are the going salaries for a product manager that is at this particular level? I get to understand the market because, friends, you might be underpaid and you don't even know it. And I'm super competitive, okay? So if I find out that a classmate of mine that has the exact same experience went to that job and is making significantly more than me, I don't feel bad about myself. That just motivates me to figure out, okay, how do I level up? I see that that is attainable. I see that I can achieve that. How do I do it? In my experience, moving to a different company is usually how I get the highest pay bump, but kind of sticking at a company is the best way to get promoted because it takes time to kind of prove yourself. Right now, I know the economy isn't that great, so I kind of doubled down at my company, really tried to prove myself. We had layoffs, I took on extra work, extra teams, and because I took on that extra responsibility, I recently got promoted and I was able to get a pay raise. So there's different strategies you can do here depending on if the market is hot, but if you don't ask people, if you don't kind of feel around in your network to see what's happening, then how do you know what to do? Now let's talk about YouTube, because this is my second job. This is not a hobby for me. This is not a side hustle. It is a full-time job that I love doing. I love making content for you guys, and I wouldn't work a second job in as many hours as I do if I didn't absolutely love doing this. I'm a product manager, and for me, my channel and this content is a product. I love building products. I'm building my brand here on YouTube. And I want to emphasize this being a business because I think a lot of times we see people on YouTube, buying all these things and reviewing all these things, and we think that that is just kind of like normal life. But in fact, a lot of the things that people buy for their YouTube channels, in this case for me, it's the makeup, those are business expenses. I would never buy this much makeup if I wasn't reviewing it here on YouTube. If I take a look at my budget, I can see exactly how much money I have spent on makeup every single month for this business. For example, for the month of October, I spent a little bit over $2,400 on makeup. I don't recommend spending that in one month. If you take a look at February, I think I spent a little over $500. So it really depends month to month. But what I'm trying to say here, guys, is that at the end of the day, that is all a business expense, and it helps me generate extra revenue to reinvest into my business. And, after a little bit, you do make a little bit of money for yourself as well. And sometimes I save that, and sometimes I spend it on luxury. The other thing that I want to say is that, not everybody can work multiple jobs. Not everybody has that time, that energy. Some people have to take care of their families. They have things to do. And so the other thing that I want to say, guys, is make sure that the money you do make, you are putting it to work for you. Make sure that you are investing and start doing it early. It is literally never too late. I'm always surprised when I talk to friends and they tell me that they're not investing their money. It's not hard. Either get a financial advisor and have them do it for you. That's kind of what I do today. Or you can do, what I did when I was first getting started, which is I think I had like a Betterment or a Wealthfront account, and I just kind of put money into it. I saw it grow, and then I was able to kind of have my financial advisors take that over once I signed up for that. But it's never too late, guys. Make sure you are investing your money, because you can only earn so much income every single month. You can only work so many hours. You can try to work smarter, but it only works to a certain point. So you got to put your money to work for you so it can grow even when you're sleeping, even when you're on vacation. So make sure that you are investing. Let's talk about credit cards. Now, I pay my credit card off at the end of each month, and that is because I had the budget. Again, with the budget, that's the most important thing. I had the budget that told me what I basically could spend money on that month, what I had the money for. If you have a lot of credit card debt, I totally understand this tip or this thing that I do is probably not applicable to you. But hey, this video is about how I afford luxury, and a lot of you guys know I love to travel. I love to go to Europe. I love to go visit my family. I love to travel. I'm traveling right now, and I like to leverage the points that I get on my credit cards, both the one that I have for my business and also the one for my personal expenses. I can pool those together and use those towards my travel. In fact, probably at least 50% of all of my flights and hotels I am able to get by using my credit card points. So if you guys see me traveling to exotic places and all those types of things, I'm able to offset the cost quite considerably because I'm able to leverage the benefits that I get from my credit cards. The other thing that I want to mention, it's not exactly about credit cards, but it's about financing. I don't recommend, or at least I don't finance luxury things or makeup. There's like the Klarna and the Afterpay and all those things. I don't use that. My personal opinion, maybe it's an unpopular opinion, is that if you don't have the money to buy the bag, you can't afford the bag. If you don't have the money to buy the makeup, you can't afford the makeup, and you really shouldn't be financing those things. Once again, I'm talking about luxury. I'm not talking about like education or your mortgage or your medical bills or your children or anything like that. We're talking about like things that we don't need, luxury, like excess. Those are things that we need a budget for. Those are not things that I finance. The next couple things I'm going to share are things that I do to keep myself on track, specifically during the sale season, the holiday season. I mean, really all year long, but you guys know what I'm talking about. When it comes to shopping, how do I keep myself on track, not buying things that I really shouldn't be buying? The first thing is that I make a wish list, okay? I have things in my head that I really want, especially if it's luxury items, especially if it's like a big ticket item like a bag. Because if I have a wish list that I've thought about for forever, and I'm constantly thinking, wow, I would really like these shoes for this thing, or I'd really like this bag, or I would really like to go to this place, it prevents me from getting sidetracked when I see deals and sales and like other things that I shouldn't be spending my money on. You could use, what is that app, like Klarna or ShopTagger, those types of things if you want to make like a digital list. And whenever I'm tempted to get something that I don't need, I just remember my wish list. Hey, no, like you were saving up for that thing. Sometimes I go into boutiques and I see like shiny, beautiful things when it's like I came to the boutique to buy this one specific thing that I saved up for, that I've been thinking about for a really long time. So I really try not to purchase things frivolously if they are not on my wish list. The other thing that I do is I keep my things organized. The things that I like to spend money on, like clothes, makeup, bags. You guys have seen me do, my little labeling with my label maker and my declutter videos. I like to do declutters regularly. I highly recommend doing them right before the holidays hit to remind yourself of what you have. I love to shop my stash. I love the makeup that I have. If I don't see it, out of sight, out of mind, I forget that I have it, and then I go and buy another palette, and then I do swatch comparisons for you guys, and I realize I already have this palette a million times over. And maybe that's okay because, you know, I'm buying these things once again to review for you all. But if I was an average consumer, I would be mad at myself. Like sometimes I'll buy the same lipstick color twice and not even realize it. So I like to make sure that I'm kind of constantly purging my collection, that I know what I have, that I see everything, so that I can be happy with the things that I already have and not keep buying the same thing over and over. On my phone, actually, I have a little photo album of all of my handbags because I'm a handbag addict, so that I can remind myself, like, Sophia, you already have like 4 black and gold bags. Do you really want to buy that? Maybe get something different. Which are the items that I use the most? Like, don't buy something that you're never going to reach for. These types of things help remind me, like, this is what you already own. Eliminate distractions and make rules for yourself. This is a very common tactic. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of it, but if you feel like you're spending too much money, if you don't want to get distracted, have a separate email account where you send all of your promotional emails. I get so triggered when I see that there is a sale because I love to shop, okay, guys? So there was a time when I basically unsubscribed from all of those things and I started watching more reviews like the ones that I make on YouTube to really understand like which things were going to be worth my money. And then I would make a wish list and then I would get the items that I wanted when they went on sale. Another thing that I do is I kind of make rules for myself. So you guys have heard me say in my Sephora hauls, I don't buy backups of things. I don't buy backups of makeup products. I don't want things to expire. There are certain categories that I don't buy from. I really try not to buy from fast fashion. I know for a lot of people, they love fast fashion because it is a more affordable way to kind of rock certain trends. But what I realized when I did my declutters, when I organized my closet, is that most of the pieces that didn't last or that I kind of stopped reaching for or I ended up, you know, sacrificing in the declutter were those fast fashion pieces. So I just know for myself, Sophia, just pick like 1 really nice item or 2 really nice fashion pieces that you want to save up for. I try and do that as opposed to buying all of these fast fashion items that half the time I don't even end up wearing. Finally, guys, these last couple of things, these are tips and things that I do to save money on luxury. Once I have saved up the money, like once I've budgeted for the bag, here are things that I do so that I don't pay full price. The first thing is buying pre-loved. You see the Dior bag right back there? I purchased that bag pre-loved from The RealReal. I love buying pre-loved items because you can get so many good deals on the market. And in fact, I have a whole playlist of videos talking about bags that I bought pre-loved, my experience. I have a whole video talking about my favorite pre-loved luxury sites where I like to shop and kind of the pros and cons of each. So if you guys are interested in buying pre-loved, check out those videos. I'll link the playlist down below. It can be really fun to buy pre-loved as well because you can find things that you can no longer get. I love to shop for vintage items. I just posted a vlog the other day of me shopping in some of the best vintage shops in Paris. If you want some inspiration, you can check out that video. So that's a really good strategy to use as well. If you're like, oh my gosh, I really want a Lady Dior. The Lady Dior does not have a good resale value, guys. You can get Lady Dior's for like half the price on Fashion File or The RealReal. So definitely consider buying pre-loved. Also, friends, maybe this is a little bit obvious, but consider checking out contemporary designers. If you feel like, oh my gosh, like I really want a Chanel bag or a Loewe bag, but I'm never gonna be able to afford it, or you just don't care to spend that much, because that's totally fine as well. I'm like that with other things in my life. Consider contemporary options. My most viewed video on YouTube right now is actually not a makeup video. It is this bag video where I share with you all my favorite dupes for some really beautiful luxury bags. In this case, more of like that quiet luxury style. There's so many good designers out there. You don't have to feel bad about not wanting to spend that much on a bag. You can get the same quality by just going with like a slightly less expensive, really good quality contemporary design. Also, consider selling your stuff. I regularly sell my pieces on Poshmark and Vestiaire Collective. I do handbag sales on my channel. I'll link my Poshmark down below in case you guys want to see how I like to set up my particular shop, but it honestly is a really good way to make a little bit of extra money. If you don't feel like you have enough kind of wiggle room to spend on luxury with your regular paycheck and just kind of your general income, consider selling stuff that you don't need and that you don't use, and that can be the money that you put towards your luxury. I really wanted to get some new bag designs, so I recently sold a couple of my bags. I'm actually still selling a couple of my bags. They're on my Poshmark if you want to check them out. And I told myself I only want to buy this new bag if I can sell these other bags. So those are some rules that I make for myself as well. Some people have like a one in, one out rule. You know, if you have the time, consider selling them, because then you can clear out your closet and you can make a little bit of extra dough to spend on luxury. I know not everybody can travel, friends, but one of the biggest ways that I save on luxury is I buy my pieces abroad. This bag I recently purchased on my trip to Paris, and while you're still spending a lot on luxury goods, it was significantly cheaper than what it would have cost if I had purchased it back here in my home country of the United States. A lot of times these products, they are priced a lot cheaper in the region or maybe the country where they are produced, and then on top of that you get the VAT refund, which basically is kind of like a tax refund, so you get it tax-free as well. When you're buying something that's like $3,000, $5,000, maybe more, that like 15%, 10%, whatever it happens to be in that country actually really adds up. Somebody was asking me in my Paris haul, you know, how much cheaper is it in Paris to buy luxury goods? It really depends on the brand, guys, and the item, but you can go on their website. You can go on the France website, on the UK website, and you can see how much that product is going for in their local currency. You can look up the VAT and you can calculate it for yourself. There are some things that I've purchased where afterwards I realized I could have bought a ticket to Italy and back, bought the product there, and it would have been cheaper than what I paid here in the United States. So that's another thing for you guys to consider as well. Comment down below and let me know if you want me to do maybe like a video about that. Another thing that I have done before when maybe my luxury budget wasn't as big was renting luxury items. A lot of people don't think about this, but companies like Rent the Runway, for example, they allow you to rent regularly luxury designer clothing items that you can kind of cycle in and out of your wardrobe. I used to do this when I worked in an office. I noticed that I was spending way too much money on clothes, but I really liked clothes. So instead of having a budget for buying new clothes, I basically just had this very set budget, this subscription amount every single month that I put towards Rent the Runway, and it allowed me to get new pieces in every single week, and then I would send them back, and then I would pick out some new ones and I would wear those. So it kind of satisfied that urge for new things, and it allowed me to still, you know, be fashionable. And you can do the same thing for bags, you could do the same thing for accessories, for example. So in summary, friends, if I may summarize my general thoughts about this topic, usually there's no catch. There's no such thing as a free lunch. We all have to work for our money. We all have different tactics, different things we do to increase our income, to save, to reach our goals, to be smarter shoppers. And so this video was my attempt in trying to summarize the things that I do. I am not an expert by any means. And with that, guys, I encourage you to sound off in the comments down below. Let me know, what are your tactics? What do you recommend for me? Was this interesting? Did this give you kind of like a different perspective on social media and the things that you see people, you know, unbox and show and flash on social media? Just remember, you know, that is a different world. Don't get FOMO. Don't feel like you are doing less better than you're actually doing by watching social media, because at the end of the day, it's not luxury that matters. There's so many other things that matter more. It is definitely like a bonus in my life. So let me know in the comments down below, what are the things that you like to do when it comes to shopping and saving for luxury? What are the things that you like to indulge in? I would love to hear all of your thoughts. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, friends, I hope that you see some beauty in your day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.